So, we are back with another paper of Specimen Paper. This time around, we will discuss Specimen Paper 2 for examination from 2020 Mathematics for Standard. Moving on, the first question says a train leaves Zurich at 22:40 and arrives in Vienna at 7:32 the next day. Work out the time the train takes. So my 22:40 I have converted into 12-hour system, which will give me 10:40 p.m. From 10:40 p.m. to 12, it gives me 1 hour 20 minutes, and the rest I have 7 hour 32 minutes. So 1 hour 20 plus 7 hour 32, the total will give me 8 hour 52 minutes as my answer. Second question, in a box of 80 glasses, 3 are broken. Work out the percentage of broken glasses in the box. It is simply by taking 3/80 times with 100, and it will give us our answer as 3.75%. Question 3. Here is a list of numbers. Put a ring around the number with the largest value. In this kind of questions, I would always suggest you to convert all those fraction forms into decimal forms. So my 1/3, I will have 0.333, and my 3/10 at 0.3, and 33% at 0.33. Now, by comparing all these numbers, I noticed that my 1/3 is the largest, hence I circled it. Question 4. Chai says that 8 cm square is the same as 8 mm square. Explain why Chai is wrong. First of all, our 1 cm is 10 mm. So 1 cm square will be automatically 10 times with 10, which is 10 square. So it will be 1 cm square is 100 mm square. Chai is wrong because 1 cm square is 100 mm square. Hence, 8 cm square must give us 800 mm square, not 80 mm square. Question 5. Y is equal to mx plus c. Find the value of y when n is equal to -2, x is -7, and c is -3. Simply insert the values that they have given into the equation, and you should get your answer as 11. The number of cars parked in a car park at 9 a.m. is recorded for 10 days. Complete the stamp and leaf diagram. Our key notes here, it says 12. Here, 12-3, it represents 123 cars. So just go through all the numbers and see 107. So my 107, I just have to write 7 here, because 10-7 is automatically described as 107. Question 7. Using a ruler and a pair of compasses only, construct a triangle with the sides of 5, 8, and 10 centimeter. Leave in your construction arcs. So I chose my 10 cm as my base and 8 and 5 to be my sides, and I have constructed as shown on the diagram. Question 8. Triangle ABC is isosceles. Isosceles, it means our two angles must be same. AC is parallel to BD. Find the value of A and the value of B. Hence, in isosceles triangle, there must be two angles that are equals. I noticed that side AC and CD are equal. They are represented by the line there. So my 2A plus 40 must give me 180. These equations, by solving these, I would get my A as 70 degrees. So A is 70 degrees. AC is parallel to BD. Hence, I know my B also will be 40 degrees. Question 9. Rearrange the formula 5W minus 3Y plus 7 is equal to 0 to make W the subject. 5W, I move all the other things, my minus 7 plus 3Y to the other side. As my 7 is negative numbers, I actually move negative to the right hand side of the 3Y in order to make it positive. So it became 3Y minus 7 over 5 as my final answer. Question 10. Explain why root 3 is irrational number, because it cannot be written as a fraction. Question 11. The mass m kilograms of a horse is 429 kilograms, correct to the nearest kilogram. Complete this statement about the value m. So the question states that it is correct to the nearest kilogram, which means our rounding value would be, by taking 1 kg divided by 2, so it would be plus or minus 0.5 kg. So our m must be lesser than 429.5. How I got 429.5 is by taking 429 plus 0.5, which is 429.5. And m must be lesser or is equal to 428.5. And how I got that is by taking 429 minus with 0.5 to give us 428.5. Question 12. The triangle ABC is similar to triangle PQR. Find PQ. So to find PQ, we can actually use similarities to compare and find out our PQ. So PQ over AP, and I took PR over AC. So insert your values that are known except PQ, which is our unknown. And now we will get PQ as 20 is equal to 21.7 over 12.4 times with 5.2, and resulting in your final answer as 9.1 cm. Question 13. Solve the inequality n plus 7 lesser than 5n minus 8. So what I did was I moved my n to the other side, so it became 5n minus n, and I moved negative 8 to the other side, so it becomes 7 plus 8. 5n minus n will give me 4n. 4n is greater. 4n is greater than 15, and n is greater than 15 over 4. So n is greater than 3.75. Moving on to the next question. Question 14 says, without using a calculator, work out 7 over 12 plus 13 over 20. You must show all your working and give your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. So what I did first was I convert my mixed fractions into proper fraction here, and I got 19 over 12 plus 13 over 20. Then I made the denominator same by 12 multiplying it with 5 and 20 multiplying it with 3, and I got 95 over 60 plus 39 over 60. Since they already have same denominator, I can just add them up. I will get 134 over 60. And now, since the question specifically wants us to give answers in mixed number, what I did was 60 divided with 134. I got 7 over 30 as my final answer. Next question. Here is the sequence of number 7, 5, 3, 1, -1. Find the next term in this sequence. The first thing I realized is 7 to 5, it is actually -2. 5 minus 2, you will get to 3, and 3 minus 2, you will get to 1, and so on and so forth. So the difference here is actually -2. To find my next term, I just have to take -1 subtract it with 2 to get -3 as my final answer. B says, find an expression for the nth term of this sequence. I notice since the only difference here is by -2, so it is an arithmetic sequence. The formula for arithmetic sequence is a plus n minus 1 times with common difference, where your a is the first term here and your d is the common difference, and n is your n term. So our a is 7 plus n minus 1, our common difference is -2, and now you just have to multiply -2 times n to give you -2n. -2 times -1 gives you +2. So 9 minus 2n is our n term for this sequence. Question 16. A hexagon has 5 angles that each measure 115 degrees. Calculate the size of the 6th angle. So to find the number of each angle in a regular polygon, we use the formula n minus 2 times 180 over n. And where n is the number of sides of the regular polygon. Since they say it is a hexagon is actually a 6-sided regular polygon. So 6 minus 2 times 180 divide by 6 again, find each angle. So our angles for specific sides is actually 120. However, the angle that they have given us here is 115. So the excluded angle is actually 5. They have excluded 5 angles for every 5 sides. So 5 times 5, 25 degrees they have excluded. Which means on our 6th angle, we have to add this excluded angle to include it again here. So 120 plus 25 to give us 145 as our final answer. Question 17. Calculate the area of this trapezium. The area of trapezium, the formula for area of trapezium is simply a plus b over 2 times height, where your a and b is actually the parallel sides here. So 8 plus 12 divided by 2 times with the height, but our height is unknown. To find height here, I noticed that this, when I draw a line, straight line here, it will turn out to be 90 degrees. So I can use this is a right angle triangle. So to find the height, I can just take square root by hypotenuse minus with the adjacent here to find my height, which is 4 root 3 or simply 6.9282. I took 4 decimal places here because this is not a final answer and to avoid premature rounding. So a plus 12 over 2 times with our height, which is 4 root 3 in this case, I gave a specific exact form, and I got my answer as 40 root 3 or 69.2820323. Rounded off to 3 decimal place will give you 69.3 as our final answer. Question 18. Shape the region in each of the Venn diagram as below. A complement union B. So how I came to the final answers in this type of question is, what I did was I broke it down. So in the first thing here, A complement, I shaded everything except the A. So, and plus with the second part here, I shaded B part. And now when I add both of these together, union means I just have to add both of them to get to the final answer. Hence, I got my final answer as this. 18b, it says shade this region, which is complement D intersect E, intersect with F. So I broke it down again. My complement of D intersect E is I have to shade everything except D intersect E part. My D intersect E is where I have marked it with yellow color there. Except that we have to shade everything else. And plus with the, I have broken down with the F here, so shade whole F and leave out the rest. And since the question is talking about intersection here, intersect means these two lines that I have drawn here, we are only interested in the part where these two lines that we have drawn here will intersect. In this case, when we actually join them up, when we join diagram 1 with diagram 2 together, we will notice that these two diagrams has actually crossed on F. So our final answer, we only have to shade F and erase everything else. And that's how I got my final answer. Question 19. Use a calculator to find the decimal value of this. So just use your calculator and give your answer to trace in the computer. Question 20. Write the recurring decimal 0.32 as a fraction. We must show all the working. I noticed that my 2 is repeating because they have hinted us with giving a point at the top of 2. So my x will be 0.32222 and go on. And I took 10x, so it will be, when I multiply my x with 10, automatically I have to multiply the right hand side with the 10 as well. So when I multiply it with 10, it will become 3.222. Now I took my x, I multiplied it with 100, and so I have to multiply with 100 to the right hand side. So it will become 32.222. Now I notice that my 10x and 100x, they can now cancel out. Those repeating 2's can be cancelled out now. So 100x minus 10x is equal to actually 32.22 minus with 3.222. So cancels out the repeating 2's and you will have 90x is equal to 29. And therefore your x as 29 over 90. Question 21. The diagrams A, B, C, D, E, and F are 6 graphs of different functions. Complete the table to identify a correct graph for each function. First function they have given was y is equal to x plus 1, and the diagram, the answer is E. This answer is given actually. The second one, y is equal to 1 minus x over 3. What I did was I set my y as 0. So when I set my y is 0, I took the equation here, 1 minus x over 3 is equal to 0. So I will get my x as 3. So when my y is equal to 0, my x must be 3. So I only see that in diagram A, with when my y is 0, my x is 3. So my final answer is A. For the third one, y is equal to 2x squared. When I set my y as 0, I will get my x value as 0 as well. And that only diagram C satisfies these values. Fourth one, y is equal to negative 4 over x. So when I see an unknown value at the bottom of in a fraction, I know it's a reciprocal diagram. But since they have given us negative, I know that our reciprocal must be at second and fourth quadrant. So the answer will be D. Question 22. A soccer team plays 2 matches. The tree diagram shows the probability of the team winning or losing the matches. Find the probability that the soccer team wins at least one of the 2 matches. The key words here is at least. At least one means it can be more than 1 matches of win. So the first probability I took was win plus win. They could win on the first and they could win on the second match, or they could win on the first match or lose on the second match. That is my first probability. And the second probability is that they could lose on the first round and win on the second round. We cannot take the probability where they lose on the first round and lose also in the second round, because they say they must win at least 1 match. That's why the probability of losing on both the matches is excluded here. So let's find out on the first probability where they win both rounds or they win and lose. So win here they say 1 over 3, and win again is 3 over 4. So 1 over 3 times 3 over 4. Since it is or means plus in probability. So plus 1 over 3 times lose is 1 over 4 here. So 1 over 4. We add them up, we will get our final answer as 1 over 3. And now the second probability here, where they lose on the first round and win on the second round. So the lose is 2 over 3. Probability of them winning is 3 over 4. You times them up, we will get as 1 over 2. So now to get to our final answer, we just have to add first probability with the second probability. So 1 over 3 plus 1 over 2 to give our answer as 5 over 6. Question 23. AB is an arc of a circle. Center O, radius with 9 cm. The length of the arc AB is 6 pi cm. The area of the sector AOB is k pi cm squared. Find the value of k. The formula for length of sector is theta over 360 times 2 pi r, where theta is the angle and your r is the radius. So they have given us the length of sector as 6 pi. So theta, which is unknown here, over 360 times 2 pi times 9, 6 pi. And using these calculations, I found my theta as 120 degree. And now when I found my angle to be 120 degree, I can automatically find my area already. The formula for area of a sector is theta over 360 times pi r squared. So 120 over 360 times pi times r squared, which is 9 squared. And we will get 27 pi. Since they asked to find the value of k, k is 27. Question 24. These box and whisker plots show the monthly electricity cost for 100 different households who use electro company or spark company. Tom says that the monthly costs with electro company are lower and very less than with spark company. Is Tom correct? Justify your answer with reference to the box and its plots. Median, I noticed that median is greater for electro company, hence Tom is wrong because electro company is more expensive. That's the first point. Our second point is actually on IQR, which is interquartile range. Spark company's interquartile range is actually greater. Hence, Tom is correct as Spark company varied more than electro company. How I know the Spark company IQR is greater is by taking their third quartile minus with the first quartile, which is their Q3 is actually 64 minus with 38, which is 26. On the other hand, for electrodes interquartile range, it is Q3 is 60 and Q1 is 42. We subtract them up, we get 18. And so we notice Sparks company's IQR is higher. Question 25. Find the turning point of y is equal to x squared plus 4x minus 3 by completing the square. So what I do in these types of question is I first find my x-axis of turning point. How I find x-axis of turning point is using a formula which is x is equal to negative b over 2a. So our b here, which is 4, I replace 4 and then a is actually x, so it's just 1. So negative 4 divided by 2, we will get our answer as negative 2. So x is negative 2. However, I move my negative 2 to the other side, so I will get x plus 2. Now my second step is I put my x plus 2 and my remaining number, which is actually c here in this case is negative 3. I minus this number with b over 2 squared. So I will have x plus 2 minus 3 minus 4 over 2 squared. X plus 2 minus 3 minus 4 and x plus 2 minus 7, which is our completing the square. And since they asked for turning point, our turning point, the x-axis that we gotten was negative 2 and c is our y value, which is negative 7 in this case. Question 26. A, B, C, and D are points on the circumference of the circle. The line xy is a tangent to the circle at A. Find the value of x, giving a reason for your answer. Our x is 55 degrees because it is an alternate segment theorem. B, find the value of y, giving a reason for your answer. Our B is 115 degrees because I noticed that it is a cyclic quadrilateral and opposite angles in cyclic quadrilateral sums up to 180. So y is equal to 180 minus 65 to give us 115 degrees. Question 27a. Simplify 27x to the power of 6 to the power of 1 over 3 again. So I took my power 1 over 3 and multiplied it with 227, and then x to the power of 6 and multiplied with 1 over 3 again. This 27 to the power of 1 over 3 is actually telling us it is a cube root. Cube root of 27 would give us 3. And when we did x to the power of 6 times 1 over 3, they can cut to become x squared. So the answer is 3x squared. B says find the value of 64x to the power of 0.5 times 4x to the power of minus 2. I treated my 0.5 as 1 over 2 here. So again, like previous question, I multiplied my 1 over 2, the bracket outside, I multiplied it with the number inside here, 64 to the power of 1 over 2 times x to the power of 4 times with 1 over 2. And then times with the remaining number here, 4x minus 2. 64 to the power of 1 over 2 is another way of saying square root of 64. Square root of 64 will give us 8, and x to the power of 4 times 1/2 will give us x squared times with 4x minus 2. So take your numbers, multiply it together, 8 times 4, x squared. Since they x and x, they have same base, we can add the powers up since the relationship between them is multiply. So x to the power of 2 plus -2 to give us x to the power of 2 minus 2, which is 0. So our final answer is just 32. Question 28, which is the last question for this paper. Solve the simultaneous equations. You must show all your working. Y is equal to 5x squared plus 4x minus 19. I treated it as my first equation. Y is equal to 4x plus 1, and I took it as my second equation. I noticed that y and y, they have the same unknown, so I can just equate them up. Y is equal to y. 5x squared plus 4x minus 19 is equal to 4x plus 1. By solving these, I noticed that I will get to 5x squared minus 20 is equal to 0. Just move your 20 to the other side to get 5x squared is equal to 20, and x squared is equal to 20 divided by 5. So x will be square root. Remember, when we square root, there are two possible answers, either plus or minus. So plus or minus square root 4, we will get our x value as plus minus 2. So x can be either plus or it can either be negative. Now take your x. When x is equal to positive 2, substitute it into one of the equation. In this case, I chose 2 because it is easier. It doesn't have square there. So substitute it into second equation. Y is equal to 4 times 2 plus 1. We will get our 9. So when our x is equal to 2, our y value is 9. When our x is -2, we again substitute into second equation to get our y value as -7. So that's all for this paper. Thank you for watching and hope to see you in next video.